Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigval here and welcome back to our video. In this one we're going to be reacting to a video from Alter Gaming, how soul rate destroyed in Just 2 Mobile. And since my channel is like 95% soul rates, it would be pretty interesting to give this a watch and an opinion. I'll put links to his channel in the description, pinned comment, but bro, at this point I think most of you know who Alter Gaming is. Him and me are basically the only two big in Just 2 Mobile YouTubers left, well, big as far as the Just 2 Mobile community goes. But nevertheless, let's see his points and let's see what we do agree on, because there's a lot wrong with Soul Rays, but I personally think that the good outweighs the bad. So yeah, let's get into it.
All right, what's going on, boys? Today, we're going to be ranting, okay? I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm going to do one about solo raids today. Today, we're going to be talking about solo raids, and we're going to be talking about the good and the bad. In my opinion, I think there's more bad than good, but it is what it is. I'll talk about that in a little bit, okay? First things first, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and channel members, everybody spam the Giga Chad emote and the Gary emote. Why? Because Gary's little brother is staying in my house right now, and you already know I'm gonna suck him dry. Ayo? Who said that?
Wait, isn't the cub like Gary? Yeah, I'm not caught up on the Alter Gaming lore, I'm sorry. Oh, the cat is taking a shit,
Okay.
amazing.
With that being said, let's get into the video. Okay, first things first, I'm going to talk about the good. I'm going to talk about the good for solo raids because I feel like the bad stuff is so obvious, and I'm always talking about the bad stuff when it comes to solo raids. So let me talk about the good stuff. So ever since I started a brand new account, I'm not going to lie, I've enjoyed solo raids a little bit more. I don't really enjoy solo raids that much on my main account, which is what you're watching right now. This is my main account. Just because the bosses that I have to fight because of the difficulty I'm in, they're just a lot more stressful. You know what I mean? You have to actually try. And
To an extent, this is true, but it's not gonna necessarily be the experience for every player, because when there's a new player, they don't know how to play the game. You already know how to play the game, so your enjoyment on your secondary account might not have been so great if it was your first account.
there's nothing wrong with trying, right? When I'm playing Call of Duty, obviously I'm trying to get 20 kills a fucking game when I'm dropping in Warzone, right? But that's a whole different thing. You can do that whenever you want. Solo raids are different because it's timed. It's timed. There's pressure on you. Not only are there a multitude of different bosses, there's a ton of different characters you can use for a lot of different situations. There's a lot of really bad characters, a few good characters. You only get 6 pips a day. You got to deal with refreshes in the sense that, whenever a solo raid's been out for like 2 weeks, then it goes away, and then you have to wait another 2 months for it to come back.
I mean, at the same time, those are kind of limitations that are not really limitations in that sense, because it's not really a limited time event that's never gonna come back. All the soul rates will forever come back, and yes, if you want to play it optimally and you want to get the most progress, you need to play it again and again, like 6 picks a day on both accounts, if you got 2 accounts like myself and like him now. But at the same time, this is kind of a time limit that you impose on yourself. You impose on yourself that I want to get the best progress, I want to play all my soul rate pips, but at the same time you don't really have to, because those are going to come back. If you don't feel like playing, you don't play.
That is all of that combined is stress. That's all stress. Because now you really have to fucking try, right? There's so many things that are in your way that you have to constantly be thinking about hopping over. However, with my new account, it's a little bit different. Bosses are a lot easier. And not only that, but I actually appreciate the rewards whenever I fight in solo raids in my secondary account.
Yeah, the rewards, though I think you'll get into that later, are okay for new players. Not amazing, but they're okay for new players. And for, let's say, at the middle of the road with your account, you're gonna get the good stuff. You're gonna get the credits, you're gonna get the reforges, the gear materials, but then later on, you're going to arrive at the point where I am with my main account and almost with my secondary account, where I got more credits than I need to spend, I got more gear materials than I'm ever gonna upgrade characters, and the rewards as far as character drops and artifact drops are still garbage. So as far as the rewards go, for me there's not much of a point to be playing soul raids anymore, except for the artifact materials, I guess, which are very sparse and few in between.
I have played more solo raids recently in my secondary account than in my main account. Why? First of all, there's a lot less stress because the fucking bosses are a little easier. And also, as a brand new player, with the brand new account, it is so much more rewarding being able to get a random 5 or 6-star character off of solo raids, and especially the free artifacts. It means more to me.
Yeah, that's gonna be very helpful for new players, for Arena and Champions Arena purposes, to just get more characters. Like, people don't realize how much slower you're building your roster before soul raids got introduced. When they got soul raids and people saw there that you can get a 5-star gold character, they were like, oh boy, what is this? What do you mean a 5-star gold character? Is that even possible to drop that at 5 stars?
Because it's a brand new account. When you become a little more experienced, it ironically gets harder. It gets harder and it gets less entertaining because there's less to go for. The only real thing that I can think about that maybe you really, really want to try to get and you really want to finish tier 7 and continue to play solo raids is just to get the beta club, right? That's like the only.
Nah, if you're chasing that, if that is your goal, you might as well stop playing soul raids, because you're not gonna drop the beta club. Like, look, my dude, that's kind of the equivalent of winning the lottery. You're just not. Just think about it. In Rise of Krypton, on my main account, I think I dropped 2 times Rise of Krypton artifacts. And they were bad artifacts, and I think the beta club has a far lower drop chance than the bad artifacts. And I'm in Heroic 7. You're just very, very unlikely to get good artifacts. Like, on my secondary account, where I didn't spend that much money and I regret spending in the first place, you're gonna see that I barely have any good artifacts as far as soul raid artifacts go, because they just don't drop for the most part. You're gonna be insane lucky. That's the exception to the rule if you get a good one, not the rule.
Thing I can think about that people might actually want to try to go out and like really try hard to get. Everything else though, the rewards aren't really that.
Like, nah, bro, if you're farming Rise of Krypton for rewards, hoping one of them will be beta club, just stop. You're just not gonna get it, most likely.
That great. A lot of artifacts in this game mode are really trash. And thankfully, a lot of the free artifacts are actually pretty good, like the Dark Metal cards and the Father Box. But those are super easy to get, because all you got to do is defeat one boss.
Well, yeah, but that's good, because they're very good and very easy to get.
Final boss, one time. So, when it comes to, like, replayability, Rise of Krypton is really the only time you're going to want to do it. But that's only if you don't have the beta club. And chances are, if you don't have the beta club.
Also, as far as replayability goes, again, I don't think chasing beta club is a viable option, but you would have the least incentive to replay Rise of Krypton and Dawn of Apocalypse, in my opinion, because at the end of them, you don't even have that chance to drop a legendary for some reason.
In the first place, you're not going to finish tier 7 anytime soon, because Rise of Krypton has some of the most annoying fucking bosses of all time. So,
yep.
I know this is kind of sounding like a bad thing, but the good thing about this game mode is that if you really need characters, if you're not trying to stress out, if you have a few characters built, if you're a brand new account, solo raids is a fucking W, okay?
Indeed.
I've been enjoying it.
I do agree with that. They're a huge boost for new players.
Because again, it's a lot easier, the rewards are a lot better, they're more rewarding because you actually need them, and it's just a lot less stress. You know what I'm saying? And also on top of that, it's kind of a bad thing whenever they add a brand new solo raid when your account is already kind of progressed in other solo raids.
I mean, kind of, but at the same time, not really. Because with each new soul raid, we get new tools at our disposal. And with the newest soul raids, we got some interesting stuff. Like, think about it, we got Nora Snow Globe, Dark Metal cards, and Puppet of Zatanna, which is artifacts that are gonna add a lot more option and a lot more variety and diversity to the builds for everybody, especially the free-to-play players. And also usually a new chance to get a legendary, you get some gems in normal difficulty. Like, there's a lot of arguments to be made about adding more soul raids. Is it good or bad? I did a video myself on that, but there's definitely a lot of good for a new soul raid.
Because then it's like, oh shit, I have to wait for the rotation again. I have to wait for the rotation for me to go back to Rise of Krypton and retry to make more progression, right? But with a brand new account, more solo raids is better. The more new ones, the better, because that means more free gems from normal mode.
Indeed.
More pretty much.
I mean, that's good for everybody.
From defeating normal bosses and heroic 1 bosses and heroic 2 bosses. Those are easy. Those are easy claps. You know what I mean? You don't really have to focus on that stuff too much, but you do get a lot of rewards. So that's the really good stuff. If you're a new player for now, the replayability is a lot higher than if you're an older player, just because it gets way too hard when you start becoming too old of a player. Now, with that being said, the bad stuff about the game mode is kind of what I already talked about. It's too much. It's too much nowadays. You have to put in so much fucking brain power to like really understand what's going on. And then not only that, but you guys already know that. You guys already know that this mode can be very.
Though at the same time, with it being harder to an extent and you having to put far more thought process into basically setting up your teams and using different strategies to defeat different bosses, it's part of the entertainment for me. Though at the same time, I do understand that some bosses are just dumb. Like for example, how they gave a reflective shield to collect reverse Superman. At that point, is not strategizing how to efficiently beat the boss anymore. At that point, is throwing stuff at the wall until it sticks and until he eventually dies.
Hard if you're not like really into it, or like if you're just casually playing the game, if you don't know every single fucking strategy off the top of your head, if you don't know what every character does, that's like a top 6 team, which is like, you know, maybe like 25 characters you got to know inside and out. If you don't know that stuff, it's just not going to be optimal. It's not going to be an optimal experience for you. It's not going to be super pleasant to be.
Something that a lot of people need to do when playing Soul Raids, including myself, is just read the boss description. I can't tell how many times I have messed up because I didn't read the boss description, because it's gonna tell you most of the things that you're gonna be going up against, and you're going to have some resources to allocate there. Like,
Fighting some bosses for you if you don't know all the strategies in the game. And then not only that, but there's a lot of bosses nowadays. There's a lot of characters nowadays that rely on dot damage. And then whenever you fight a character that has dot immunity, it's like, holy shit, dude. You wish the game would have been a little bit more laid out with like.
yeah, but at the same time, I feel like the dots immunity has been kind of retroactively fixed. I mean, it's a very bad concept in the first place. As soon as they put dot immunity in the game, crit immunity, lethal immunity, I am 100% against that. I think it's just a garbage mechanic that's simply going to mean you're gonna deal less damage and there's nothing you can do about it. But they have been retroactively fixed to an extent by the Dark Metal cards, and the dot immunity has been kind of fixed by Batwoman the Drowned because she deals hazard dot damage, and it's a character that has a challenge and everybody will get. Don't get me wrong, dot resistance, crit resistance, lethal immunity, that's no way to bypass. Those are garbage modifiers that should have never been in the game, but now we got more tools as time goes on to deal with them.
Like how they spread things apart, right? I wish there was more characters that did a lot of special.
And at the same time, you might be like, yeah, but new players are not gonna have Batwoman the Drowned. Well, if you're gonna mine dot resistance, then you either are using Beta Club or League of Anarchy. You're far more likely to have Batwoman the Drowned than those things.
3 damage, a lot of special 2 damage, a lot of special 1 damage, a lot of basic attack damage, a lot of armor pierce damage, a lot of lethal damage. I don't know. They have so many different stats in this game, but a lot of characters in this game, if you really want to max them out, focus on dot damage, right? King of Linus Aquaman with Raven, dot damage. Heartbreaker Harley Quinn.
If you have Beta Club with King. If you don't have Beta Club nor a Snow Globe, you're gonna deal 75% or close to that of the enemy's total health. And that's gonna a lot of times be more worth it than using Beta Club with him, because you can use Raven with something else.
Manta, dot damage. This is, of course.
What? No. Manta doesn't deal dot damage. Manta with Beta Club is trash compared to the other options that he has. You're not gonna use Manta with Beta Club, my dude. Manta's got basic attack hit damage. He might be relying on lethal if you're using Brainiac, but not Manta, no dot damage.
You got Beta Club. And then Batman Ninja Team, dot damage again, right? There's a lot of.
But they can do a lot of damage without dot damage, like Dark Metal cards, but Ninja Team. And again, you're assuming people have Beta Club. I think like 3% of the Injustice mobile player base or less has the Beta Club.
Characters that rely on dot damage. And the thing that sucks is once you start getting into those higher difficulties, if you take that away, you can't really substitute it. The only way you can substitute a lot of damage from the Beta Club, really, if you're going to fight like a super strong opponent, is with percentage reduction damage. And then there's another problem right there. This is assuming that you also have those fucking characters. There's a lot of assumptions in this game. It's easy. It's easy. A lot of pay-to-win people will say it's easy, but that's assuming you have.
I mean, You're basically talking about alternatives to high dot damage and League of Anarchy. Again, at that point, you already have percentage hell damage. There's almost no way you get Beta Club in League of Anarchy before you get yourself a Conflant Sakomen, a 3-star Zatanna, a 3-star Deathstroke.
All the good characters, all the gears for the good characters, all the good artifacts, and then all of the other legendary characters that are fucking hard to get with their gears, right? Maybe Deathstroke. Deathstroke's an easy clap. He's a W because you don't really need his gears. But you know what I mean. It's like a whole list of assumptions for the game to be easy, and that's not good. That's not good because once newer players reach Heroic 2, maybe Heroic 3, they're gonna be like, what the fuck? You know, now I gotta save fucking 50,000 gems just for me to get a 2-star Raven in the next fucking 5 months because her chest barely pops up. You know what I mean? Who's gonna want to do that? Who's gonna want to do that? No one's gonna want to do that. That's another thing about the solo raid. That's another thing about solo raids is it's so polarizing. It's so I don't even know what word to say. It's like discrimination type shit, right? It's like if you're not going to take the game super fucking seriously all the time, if you're not going to spend money on us, if you're not going to fucking
I mean, at the same time, but yes, spending money is a whole nother point that I can't really argue against with Soul Race because they are to an extent paid to win with the artifacts that you're gonna get. But at the same time, you can just choose not to play Soul Race if you want to use your weird ass characters in Arena and Champions Arena that are not gonna do well in Soul Raids. Then you're not gonna do well in Soul Raids. It's kind of as far as that goes. But at the same time, Soul Raids provides you the biggest freedom we've ever had in the game as far as resources in building your random ass characters. If you want to have a lot of resources to build random characters, then you first get the good characters, and then they're going to help you farm soul rates and get a ton of resources to build whatever character you can. That's basically the name of the game. That's how you play it optimally, but at the same time, you can just refuse to do it or interact with it.
play 24/7, then get the fuck out because you're not going to do anything in this game. That's kind of like what solo raids says sometimes. And that's not the way to run a game. I get it. I get it. You want to make money from the game. But homie, there's 7 fucking heroics, bro. Make 4 heroic. First of all, get rid of normal mode. That shit is confusing as fuck. That there's a normal mode and then 7 heroics, bro.
Normal mode is the thing that I hate the most in this game. It's absolutely garbage. It's gonna be the player's first interaction with soul rates, and in normal mode, the AI is going to behave so much more differently. They're not gonna need to do 3 hits on you before they can use a special. They're just gonna be weird, and it's an old AI of the game. This AI used to be everywhere at some point, even in league rates, and then they fixed it and did a new AI, and the new AI is so much better. Everybody likes it more after they play a bit, but for some reason that's not in normal difficulty. And new players are going to encounter that, are going to play against that for a longest time until they get out of normal with the new accounts, and then they're gonna be like, what the hell is this? What have I been learning to play the game for if the game is going to behave differently from now on? What was the point of normal modes? Like, normal mode is garbage.
Just make heroic 1 fucking normal mode, okay? Now, with that being said, altogether there would be 8 difficulties, right? H1 to H8, right? Because we're adding in normal mode. Make the first 4 heroics free to play friendly. 4. So that way we can get at least halfway through, right? And
I mean, at the same time, even with the reflective shield of Collect Reverse Superman, I don't think there's any boss that you're going to hit a massive roadblock. I mean, look, actually, with the Super Shield on Collector, you might need to play the game quite well to be able to bypass that, but at the same time, since there's percentage hell damage in the game, you're not gonna get stuck at any point provided you play well. And if we discount Collect Reverse Superman, you're not gonna get stuck at any point, period. It's just not gonna happen. You're just gonna be like, kill one boss, then the sword comes back, and then kill another boss, and that's the worst case scenario. And you'll eventually break out of it, and I know it sucks, but you're not getting stuck at any point. Though, yes, if you paid money, you would have a far better time.
and in the other 4, make them pay to win, right? Easy. Easy. And by the way, when I say free to play, I know some of you fucking bozos, I know some of you nerds out there are gonna be like, well, Alter, technically speaking, everything in the game is free to play as long as you spend spend enough time. Yeah, okay. I don't want to spend fucking 20 years of my life to get fucking a T5 with free-to-play shit, right? I don't want to do, or Heroic 5, that's what I meant.
Bro, like it's the most disgusting thing when this animal licks me because his tongue has a very weird texture. At the same time, I mean, what's the point of even getting in high heroics? Because you're seeing this as a goal, but at the same time, you admit that there's not much reward when you get there. What's even the point? The character drop rates and the artifact drop rates are gonna be the same at each heroic.
I don't want to spend 20 years of my life sweating, grinding, nerding out, doing math, running calculations, doing codes, doing this and that just to get to Heroic Mode 5, right? I don't want to do that shit, right? Nobody wants to do that. There's a very few amount of people that want to do that. So look, for those of you that are going to say, oh, well, Alter, Heroic 5, 6, and 7 is free to play if you just have King of Atlantis Aquaman and about 80 years of your fucking life spent on this game, okay? Stop that. Don't be that fucking stupid, right? Imagine if Call of Duty fucking released a gun that takes 10 years to get up to level 50 to unlock all the attacks.
I mean, though, what's the big deal though with getting to high heroics? You're not gonna fight different bosses with different mechanics. You're not gonna have higher artifact drop rates. It's gonna be the same as previous heroics, just a bit more resources and a bit harder fights. I mean, a lot harder fights. What's the point of trying to rush there? What's the point of even seeing that as a goal? There's plenty of free-to-play players who reach heroic 7 constantly on the soul rates as they get released. I mean, obviously, as some time passes. But at the same time, what's the goal? The problem with Injustice Mobile, like another problem, is that there is no end game. There needs to be an end game. There needs to be something that is rewarding for people who have been playing the game for a long time, as much as there needs to be something that's rewarding for the new players. And Soris kind of got the closer to it, though yet again, they're by far not enough. They are not enough, and this man is complaining about that kind of end game even existing. Like, I understand that it's gonna take ages, it's gonna take grinding, it's gonna take doing the maths, but you don't have to do it, because there's gonna be almost no difference between being in Heroic 4 and Heroic 7. You're just gonna get a bit more materials, and by the point you get to Heroic 7, you're gonna have more than you need to spend.
Attachments, right? Everybody would be crying about that shit because it's stupid. It's stupid. There is a reasonable amount of time that things need to be. This game does not understand that, bro. 5 years later, I still don't have Arkham Knight Batman. What? Dawn of Apocalypse. I don't even know what difficulty I'm on. I think I'm on Heroic 4. Granted, I don't really play solo raids that much anymore. But you know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Dawn of Apocalypse is a whole nother problem, and it's garbage because the artifact bonuses don't split. Like, why?
Oh, I got a good account. I got a nice, beautiful account. It's not maxed out or anything. But like, things are getting so try-hard, even in Heroic Mode 4, even for a pay-to-win player like me, that it's like, bruh, I could go play Minecraft. I could go play Fortnite. I could go play Warzone. I can go play so many other fucking games that will give me more for the time I invest. And that's really the biggest downfall of this mode. It's just the fact that because it is so... I don't want to use the word discrimination because it's kind of like an exaggeration, but because it is kind of discriminating against people that want to spend money and people who don't, and people.
Also, at the same time, you're acting like spending money is going to save all your problems, and you have admitted yourself that you spend money on your main account, and you have a beta club, you have a lot of things, and you're still complaining about how hard the higher heroic difficulties are. So is spending money really solving the problem? By spending money, you're simply going to one-shot every single boss in a few seconds? No, it's still gonna be a challenge to it. Like, even if you spend money, you're gonna have an easier time, but it's still gonna be rough.
People that want to spend a lot of time and people who don't, because it has such a big gap between that. Not a lot of people are sticking around for the game. Not a lot of people are sticking around for the game, bro. Because the moment they start progressing and getting a little bit ahead, whenever new players are getting ahead, then they just kind of get hit with this big break. Like, okay, you finished normal mode. Okay, your fucking free trial has expired. From now on, I'm gonna need your fucking I'm gonna need your fucking social security number. I'm gonna need your license. I'm gonna need your license plates. I'm gonna need your passport.
I do agree with this. It can be scary for new players when they finish normal mode and they get to heroic and they're like, oh, I can't use my Kim Sakuma 6 times a day. I need to actually have 6 teams. I barely have even one team. And I think a fix to this would be allowing you to reuse the same team 6 times a day all the way up to, let's say, heroic 3.
You know what I mean? The free trial is over after normal mode for a lot of people. I'm willing to bet. I wish we could see a graph or something. That would be sick. Like seeing like how many people stopped playing at what modes. I'm willing to bet a lot of people stopped playing in normal mode. I'm sorry, in heroic mode 1. Just because
I don't agree with that. I mean, it depends on the soul rates. Some of the soul rates are gonna be rough, and there's little incentive to play them, like Dawn of Apocalypse, Rise of Krypton to an extent. But other soul rates are going to be quite easy, like This Is Magic soul rates, The Last Contract soul rates, Dark Knight soul rates to an extent. And people are gonna keep pushing because as they push, they're gonna get a little bit better rewards, a little bit better credits, a little bit better gear materials, maybe a chance to get legendary from the last tier reward, though that chance is also garbage and I hate it and I'm never lucky with it, but still.
it kind of goes from being able to use whatever character you want whenever you want, however many times you want in normal mode, to then like hey, you need 6 built teams to get any further ahead. I know we allowed you to use one team all the way through normal mode, but now you need 6. Now you need 6. It went from 1 to 6, right?
Yeah, again, that's kind of bad. Would be great if you could use the same team 6 times a day, all the way up to Heroic 3 or something. But at the same time, you're gonna need teams everywhere. You're gonna need a certain amount of teams in Arena. The more, the better. You're gonna need a certain amount of teams in Champions Arena. The same, the better. You're gonna need a certain amount of teams in League rates. The same, the better, because you can't repeat teams there. So you're gonna need to build teams eventually, and that's kind of a wake-up call that indeed comes a bit too early.
Right? I wish I could see that in the graph. That'd be sick. Like just seeing how many people like just oh, my free trial is over. All right, I'm out, baby. What? The graph just goes what? It was going like this in normal mode, and then woo. But anyways, boys, with that being said, I just wanted to rant about this subject. Truth be told, I'm gonna keep it a buck. The reason why I made this video is just because I was too lazy to make another ranking video, just because it takes a lot of editing. We'll do that tomorrow, okay? I'll do that tomorrow. I was being a little lazy today, all right? In my defense, I had to wake up early, okay? Hey, stop judging me. I see that.
Bro, like for the past few days, I have to wake up early myself. I was the kind of person who falls asleep at 4 a.m., then wakes up at 11. But then the cat came in, so now he's hungry at 7 to 8 a.m., and I'm like, okay. Or when I wake up at 6 in the morning to piss, he also wakes up and he's like, oh, we just woke up. We just woke up, Sigvald. I'm never gonna go to sleep again for the next few hours. I'm just gonna play around the house and make a lot of noise.
Hey. Stop judging me, okay? Sometimes I get a little lazy. But with that being said, boys, have a good day. Keep it thick. Thank you for watching the video. And solo raids is ass.
Wait. Isn't this where the video is supposed to end?
Oh my god. Off the record, Gary's brother is very delicious. All right. See you guys later. Have a good day. Keep it thick, boys. Okay, I'm back. One thing I forgot to mention is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video as well is because the other day, I was playing Rise of Krypton solo raids in my secondary account. And look, let me give you the background, right? I was fighting John Stewart Green Lantern. In case you guys
Oh no. I understand this, man. I understand the reasoning of this, man. I've been fighting John Stewart Green Lantern 2 for the past 2 days. The video that I'm gonna release, except for this video today, would be against fighting that, man. That is the worst hazard dot damage boss in the game. Not necessarily because of the hazards on the ground. We've dealt with that a lot of times, but he's a piece of shit to fight. He's got an armor pierce special too that goes map wide. He's got the jump attack that's gonna push himself back and you back. He's got the special one that's annoying. Everything is about this man is annoying. He's gonna back off into a ranged attack all the damn time. It's not about the hazards on the ground, though they do contribute. They're sucky to deal with. It's about the men that's sitting on top of them. That is not the fight that I wanna fight. That's garbage. That's simply plain garbage. I hate it.
Don't know, John Stewart Green Lantern has hazards on the ground for the whole game. So he has dot damage and he has power drain hazards.
By the way, if you're watching this video and you're struggling with him, don't mention that in my video. Try using Hellboy as a tank because he heals from dot. It's not gonna be optimal, it's not gonna be a good experience, but it's something.
The power drain hazards aren't that big of a deal. But the dot damage hazards, holy shit, dude. They were doing like 5,000 damage to my King of Atlantis Aquaman. And my King of Atlantis Aquaman is decently built. He's not maxed out.
Yeah, because he's on the main account, and the hazards on the ground are going to scale with the boss's attacks. So the higher heroic you get, the more damage they are going to deal. They scale with the boss attack because, for example, if you use better initiative and reduce their attack, they're not gonna deal anything.
But like, keep in mind, we're fighting normal bosses. My King of Atlantis Aquaman is eons ahead of any new player.
Oh, it's his new accounts.
To the game's King of Atlantis Aquaman. Like for me, I have a good league and I know how to build characters, right? So for me, starting a new account is easier just because I already have 5 years of experience. But even then, I was getting fried by a normal boss.
Yeah, I was through the same thing, but in Heroic 7 with him. That was not enjoyable. I was expecting to one-shot that bit, and he dragged the fight along for a few pips. A few more pips than I could spare.
A normal difficulty boss. Even my Dr. Fate that has level 60 gears, that has maxed out defense, that has 44% dot resistance, even he was getting fried.
I mean, 44% ain't that much.
By John Stewart Green Lantern, the normal boss. Imagine what it's like for people that are actually brand new players.
Also in normal, I think it's actually far harder than in heroics to an extent. I mean, not because of the damage, because damage is higher in heroics, but because of the stupid ass AI. Because if his AI is annoying in heroics, and it is one of the most annoying AIs to fight against in the game, I can't imagine what that feels like in normal difficulty.
Actually brand new. They don't know anything about the game. They don't know how to build characters. Imagine what it's like for them. That's I just wanted to mention that. It's so stupid how much damage he was doing for being a normal boss. It really, really was. I was talking about earlier how the game is really friendly in normal mode, and then it gets difficult. You know, it gets more difficult as you get to heroic mode 3 and 4 and 5. Yeah, for some bosses, they're annoying even in normal mode, and that should not be the case. I just wanted to point that out because it's so stupid. A fucking normal mode boss doing 5,000 damage per second. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. How is a new player?
Kind of a fix to this would be to introduce the Harley mechanic. There's a Harley boss, I think, I don't know in which story, but there's a Harley boss that has hazards on the ground, and those hazards are going to periodically switch between damaging you and healing you. Would be a fix if they would, in lower heroics, implement that switching mechanic between heals and dots, and then in higher heroics just a bit to dot.
How is a new player going to play against that, right? They can't. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that was about it for the video. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'll put links to Alter's video in the description pinned comment. I do have a lot of problems myself with steroids, and I have made a lot of videos ranting about specific things. But it doesn't seem to be the same things that Alter is ranting about, so I guess everybody's got their own problems. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.